current events, injustice, police brutality, systematic racism, politics. What say ye? Enough said. Welcome back to another episode of Enough Said with your hosts, Jemo, Carolite, and Cherry Poet. Today's topic will be hate speech. Is it hate speech or truth speech? That is the question. Carolite, what say ye?
First, I'd like to get a definition of what hate speech is. So, Jemo, can you oblige?
Okay, the definition of hate speech. Hate speech is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as public speech that expresses hate or encourages violence towards a person or group based on something such as race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. That's what a hate speech.
Okay, so we're here to talk about Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, he did an interview on his own show on YouTube, and Viacom fired him, saying that he was preaching hate. Now, I saw the video, and they were just basically talking some truth. They didn't say go kill the Jews. They didn't say do anything bad to anyone. They were just kind of breaking down how the system is where music and entertainment is concerned. Basically what Nick was saying is that the Jews pretty much run the industry, and it's only 6 or 9 of them that run the entire industry where entertainment is concerned. TV, movies, and all that stuff. It's all about these 6 or 9 people who either they say yes, it goes to screen, or no, it doesn't. So that's basically what he was saying. Now, the gentleman, Professor Griff, was a rapper who was kicked out of a rap group back in the 80s because, he was like the militant type. The group was militant, and this particular guy said some things where he broke down the music industry and spoke of the 6 who run the music industry, and they basically told the group, you better get rid of him or we're cutting you guys. So then they turn around and do the same thing to Nick for saying nothing other than these 6 or 9 people run the industry. I don't see what was racist about it. I don't see why they needed to fire him. And furthermore, I don't see why he apologized. They should be the ones apologizing to him. So I'm just upset about the whole thing, especially the apology that Nick Cannon issued.
What I have to say is I did listen to a part of the YouTube speech, and I heard him refer to the fact that the Jews were black people, or something to that effect. And basically, the point that I thought he was trying to make is basically that Jewish people, the origin of the Jewish race, they were black people. And I saw, so what I got from it was simply like he's making some form of correlation between black people and Jewish people. What did you get, Gemma?
2 things. One, well, the Jewish people, questionable whether that's a race or a religion. In my opinion, Jews is a religion. And as you know, Christianity was derived from Jews. But the fact that, and this goes back to another podcast that we have had, where we said that Israel, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, all those places were part of Africa back in the day. So if they were in fact part of Africa before the Middle East was formed, and I understand that Israel considered themselves part of Europe, I don't know, but they were part of Africa back in the 17th and 18th century, or 18th and 19th century. And so the analogy he was making, and to some extent Deshaun Jackson, who is also a Philadelphia Eagles, that was put on punishment. He didn't lose his job, but now he has to do a lot of community service, apologize to the Jews, do all kinds of things to make up for what he said. And I'm going to differentiate between what he said and what Nick Cannon said in a minute, because I think there's a difference. But basically, they were just saying that the original Jews were blacks. And I've heard that from when I was a child, that the Israelites, the original Israelites, were black people. And the reason I believe that what Nick said is not anything anti-Semitic about it is because he never really put down the Jews. He was just saying that blacks are the original Jews. He said a few more. And so I couldn't see what was anti-Semitic about it. But of course, the head of Viacom, being a Jew, decided to fire him.
But that's exactly what he was saying. You know, the Jews run the industries, music and TV, film and all that. It's really up to them. Another point I'd like to make about Nick's interview is the whole time they're having discussion, he and Professor Griff, he's basically saying we're all about unity. He said that several times in the whole interview. A point that Professor Griff pointed out was that, you know, people are saying they want to shut you out for anti-Semitic statements when Black people are the Semitic people. So if the Black people are the Semitic people, how can a Black person be anti-Semitic? And so that's what they were talking about. Go and look up the word Semitic and you will see that if Black people were the original Jews, you know, then how could we possibly be anti-Semitic or say anti-Semitic speech? We would be talking anti ourselves, is what they were saying.
Right.
So it comes across again that this is just another way of
dehumanizing,
of punishing a Black man for speaking his truth. And this is why I wanted to, you know, do this topic about, you know, is it hate speech or is it truth? Because it appears that whenever it comes to racism or a Black man speaking up, setting the record straight, saying the truth about what things really are, it's as if they come down on him, as if he did something so horrible, as if he, you know, you would think he had threatened the lives of some Jews the way they responded. And so I had to hear it for myself. And then all of a sudden you hear what Nick said and you're saying, huh?
Exactly.
Is that really? This is what you are calling anti-Semitic,
yeah,
Semitic speech?
Why does he apologize? See, this is what gets me with the Black males, especially in the industry, whether it be music or acting. You know, why is the Black male always apologizing? You know, the Black male says, you know, I don't like the gay lifestyle. Oh, he should apologize. Why should he apologize? Why? Can you not, can a person not agree or disagree with something? I don't get it. Did anybody say go out and shoot these people or go out and hurt them in some kind of way? No, we're just talking facts, talking about what you believe and what you don't. So why are these men, they're being asked to apologize? Why are they apologizing? I'm not getting that.
So let me say this. Deshaun Jackson actually made some quotes from Hitler with his analogy of the Black people being Jewish. And Hitler had, as you know, was very cruel to the Jews. So I can see why Deshaun Jackson would apologize if it hurt anyone's feelings. Nick Cannon really it's what I call a qualified apology. I don't agree with them always apologizing. He did a qualified apology saying, if anybody's feelings was hurt by what I said, I apologize. But then he's standing by his words, and he's demanding rights to his show, and he's being a real man about it and saying, look, this is what I said, that wasn't my intent and my meaning. Now, it makes me kind of wonder if Jewish people are upset about what Nick said because he said the Jews or Blacks are originally Jews, so that makes it insultive to them. It's a lot more than that, I'm sure. But he has never, I don't think he has a racist bone in his body or was discriminating against a religion, or else he would not have said, we are one of you. We are Jews.
Exactly. And that goes to show again that if we really look into the matter, I believe that's not the reason they fire Nick. It speaks to that there was something more going on.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
also, exactly. And because he also was given the greatest history lesson I've ever had on why the Caucasian race tend to be the way they are. It's the first I've ever heard anybody give an explanation about, persons being in the Caucasus Mountains, fighting for food, vying for survival, and based on that history, develop a mentality of needing to be in control, wanting to dominate, that's the word, to dominate others, fighting for that type of thing. And he was literally trying to give an explanation to me so that I can, for the first time in the history of thinking about this thing, it gave me some type of idea as to where there could be a reason for this, because I never understood the reasoning behind the actions of racism.
Let me say this. Another reason why he apologized is just for that reason. The 7 or 8 people who own the industries are Jews. And if you want to hold your position in this world or in this industry or not let them affect you monetary wise, then you have, if their feelings are hurt, it's like if you did something and your boss feelings are hurt, you can do what I call a qualified apology, saying, I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt, but that's not what I meant. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I was just protecting myself and my people, or describing something that, affected me and my people. So the qualified, I agree, sometimes too much apology, it makes you look weak, but when they control, and let me tell you, they love to see a Black man apologize.
My thing is, as a Black woman looking at these celebrity Black males who I just feel like they need to be more man about their business. They need to show us that you can totally say, listen, I will not apologize, and here is why I'm not going to apologize. You should be man enough to say, I will not apologize, and here is why I'm not going to apologize, because I said nothing wrong. I was basically dropping facts. I did not disrespect your people or anyone else. I spoke of unity. Black men need to stand their ground, because it's very annoying and disheartening to see this constant apology when they've waited 400 years for America to apologize for the horrific slavery that they put us through for so very long, and still yet no apology from America, no apology from any of these racist people. But every little thing the Black man says, the white man feels as though he could just shut him down, and here go the Black man apologizing. Stand your ground, Black man. Come on.
Well, sometimes when you stand your ground, you lose in your pocket. So he lost one gig, he didn't want to lose all the others. But Nick did hold his ground. I don't know if you read his statement.
On Facebook, and then the next thing I saw was it going viral. Nick apologized, and I'm like, whoa.
You have to play it smart.
You have to remember, Cherry Poi, this is what Reverend Al Sharpton said when he said, this is what he meant when he said, even at the highest office in America, they still have their knee on your neck. Yeah. What they do, and the reason why these Black men apologize is for their livelihood, because what they do is they threaten to destroy their livelihood. Remember now, all Nick knows is acting, entertaining, writing, and whatever he's good at falls under the umbrella of those 6 Jews that own those industries. So if they made the Jews believe that he said something negative towards them, which really, what is more negative, honestly, is what he said about what could be construed as negative was only what he said about whites and their origin and how they are by nature, as opposed to Jews. But in order, again, to put him in his place. You see, he is considered a facetious black man, and we have to punish him for speaking his truth.
Here's the thing, though. You know, Jemo, you mentioned that they apologized because of their livelihood. One great thing I noticed when they fired Nick, Puffy came out and said, hey, I own a network or whatever the case is. Come and work. Bring your show to our network. Now, I don't know if Nick responded, but see, that's how Black folks need to behave. The minute they shut you down, every Black person from Oprah to Tyler Perry,
Tyler Perry.
So every Black person who's in that position should immediately step in and handle the business. Do you remember when Rihanna was seen in some video or something, they caught her on camera? I think she was smoking a spliff or smoking a cigarette or something, and immediately these major companies dropped her endorsement. They just cut her off. You know what Barbados did? They not hear me. They jumped in and gave her huge endorsements, and that's to say, you're not gonna mess with our girl. You're not gonna just throw our girl away like that. And right now, Rihanna is one of the richest entertainers ever. You see what I'm saying? And that is how Black people need to behave. When you shut down Nick Cannon, that's when everybody should jump in and do something for him and uplift him. You don't apologize when you have done nothing wrong.
You have to realize that in the grand scheme of things, there's only a handful, you name them, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and P. Diddy, and maybe two more, who can, actually offer him something. Not even Jay-Z or Beyonce, because they don't own a network. Do you understand? We just have a handful of millionaires and billionaires in this country. So until we get a hold of the wealth, we're not going to have the power. Barbados is a small island that's wealthier. Their dollars, if an exchange rate is almost 1-to-1, they're still under the British pound. It might even be better than that. They are a small island that maybe have money to go behind them, but then you have other countries that can't afford it.
We're talking about, this is America. You have enough millionaire, multi-millionaire celebrities that could do things for Nick. In other words, maybe his income would drop by a point, or a couple points, but he would never be starving. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, one of the reasons,
stand your ground, even if it means making a little bit less.
One of the reasons he's suing for the Wild and Out show is obviously if he owned it, he would have been able to walk with it, but he doesn't have full rights to it. And that is another problem, that because he doesn't have the right to the show, he has to first go through a legal battle to even get it in order to go somewhere else. It's already $1 billion show.
Brand. Yeah.
It's $1 billion brand. So he can't just walk away from the $1 billion brand and go start anew. So he's trying to get that. Now, I'm pretty sure if he had already owned it, if it was his brand, he would have just walked. He wouldn't have to be fighting with them. So that is what
having to fight for that brand does not equal an apology, is what I'm saying.
Without the apology, he could easily be dropped by other networks. Remember, they say that all these
groups are run by Oprah, Tyler Perry, Puff Daddy, Jay-Z. Jay-Z does films. He produces films.
Let's just say what we started with. He said 6 rich Jews own the entertainment industry. OWN is not owned by Oprah alone. Not even the OWN network is owned by Oprah alone. So there's very few things. I think right now, the only one I've heard that own his own stuff is Tyler Perry. Everybody else, somebody else is in charge. With Nick, Viacom is in charge. Fox is in charge. So all of his work, he's working for somebody. So when you're working for somebody, you can't just up and just walk away from that big lifestyle that you have. The only person I've seen who I rate so much, I hold in the highest regard, is Colin Kaepernick, because he's one of the few that risk his whole livelihood in order to stick to his message.
Yeah.
You know, so they apologize simply because it's either that or you lose your game, be fired. It's either that, apologize, or be fired, because this is how.
I get what you're saying, but being fired will never mean broke for Nick unless he wastes the money that he has on.
You don't understand.
Enough black people to keep him afloat or to keep him living well. You know what I'm saying? Plus all the stacks he has in the bank, plus, all the stuff that he owns and is worth. You know what I'm saying? Even if they drop, it's not like he's gonna end up like me, struggling. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, they have to stand their ground, man. Because it looks so horrible. Because the media is not, the post that I'm seeing on Facebook that's going viral doesn't say, Nick did a, what do you call it? Conscious apology? What did you call it?
Oh, I said like a qualified apology. It's a restraining apology. But let me just speak for a minute. Nick has other shows like The Masked Singer. He was bold enough to walk off America's Got Talent because they were racist and they didn't want him to act black. And he says he stands with Gabriel, the one union. Who was kicked off of there because the atmosphere was very racist. Of course, Terry Crews had to deny it, but then Terry Crews has issues of his own. We won't talk about him here. So you can't knock Nick. Nick has lose a lot of hustle in the past by standing by what he believes in. But don't you understand that these people have control over the whole industry and it becomes a domino effect? And if they want to put you in the ground and you never work again, they can. Because it's a conspiracy, they net together, and you're saying that all the black people are rich enough to bail them. You can't bail everybody out, or else you yourself will be broke.
Yeah, well, that's not everybody. You could totally bail Nick out, though.
No, but you just mentioned Rihanna. You mentioned there's been many others out there right now, movie stars who want bailing out, who are no longer picked up. Monique, she's another one that's complaining about a lot of stuff, suing people. There's so many out there that you yourself can only help a few. And I was glad for the offer that came from P. Diddy, even though I understand his, I know somebody who tried to go to his cable channel, and it was very pricey compared to the others. So, what was P. Diddy offering him the same amount of money that he's making now? Was it 10 million that offer him as much as he's making now? I don't know. It might not be, but I'm sure for his pride and because he stands by his faith. And Nick is a really good guy. He went to university. He travels from coast to coast. He's a hard worker. He's not going to look to Mariah Carey to bail him out. Their exes. She has a good amount of money too, but you wouldn't do that. He's a man. So you can't just blame him completely until you're in his shoe and you see the full picture.
Also, we have to remember, when he walked away from American Idol, that was America Got Talent. I'm sorry. When he walked away from America Got Talent, that was that 8-figure salary he walked away from. Now he went to Viacom, built Wild 'N Out from the ground up.
Now he went there with and pitched it to them.
He had it before America's Got Talent, I thought.
That's his stuff. He didn't go there and they built it for him. He built it, went there and pitched it, and they loved it. And during that whole time, he made it into the biggest brand ever. And they just want to fire him, really?
Exactly. And this is a good example again, when we're talking about truth speech versus hate speech. They do not want for him now to come out and say the truth about what happened to him as a black man in that industry. So here you go, fire him. And I believe the firing is based off the fact that he demanded control for his brand. He wanted them to give him that brand, make that his. And I think that is where the infighting started. And now that he did something, because this is what a lot of people do in the jobs, when they want to get rid of you, They lay wait to find something that you do that has nothing to do with what they're doing. And then they use it against you. We know that's what they do. They use it. That's what they're doing to Nick right now. He did no anti-Semitic.
He made a statement where he said how when they fired him, in their comment was, you know, he said this on his YouTube show, and he didn't even as much as apologize. He said they blatantly lied. He said after the episode, before they even fired him, before he even knew they were going to fire him, he went in and said, you know, I said some stuff on the show, you know, if it made anybody feel some kind of way, you know, I'm sorry. And he said they just looked at him. And the minute he said that was the minute I knew this is not what they're firing you for.
Exactly.
Nail on the head, Caroline. You know, the reason they fired him is because he at some point asked for his brand.
Exactly.
He started asking questions about ownership of that brand, and that's what they're mad about.
Yeah, there's always more to the story than what meets the eye, and there's always a lot more going on behind the scenes. But all I can say is this: boycott Viacom. Now, I understand that, you know, BET and VH1 are with them, and is it CBS or one of those majors? I forget which one. I don't want to quote the one. So we can look it up. I think we should boycott them as a Black folks. I think some white folks should boycott them when they see that nothing is wrong. I love Jewish people. I don't have to say that. You know, there are a lot have done stuff for me, good things for me in the past. Blacks and Jews used to live together greatly until this whole racial divide. As you know, America pollutes everybody and everything becomes, you know, your race or your religion, or there's always division. But I would say boycott them. And I would say, Nick Cannon, keep your head up. You're going to land on your feet. You're a noble guy. Please don't.
I hope he gets ownership of his stuff. I really hope he gets ownership of his stuff.
Yeah, I just want to take it beyond Nick, because you know how I am. I do believe, though, we have to take it a little further than just Nick and start. We should not be punished for speaking our truth in this country. If we speak our truth about the founding fathers, the truth is most of them owned slaves. The truth is most slave owners had Black women that they raped. If I say that about a founding father, am I speaking hateful? Or am I just telling the truth about what happened? And it's very sad that we're in a culture and a country that when you bring up a truth, and because it does not make the person that lived this truth look good, all of a sudden you're labeled as a hate speaker, like you're speaking hate. We're not making these things up.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, like Gemma said, we're running out of time. And quickly, I totally agree with you. I've been shut down on Facebook and Instagram for speaking the truth.
I'm wearing my bracelet, my pendant today in remembrance of my son, Shane. May he rest in perfect peace.
Peace, Shaney.
Hi, Shane.
I just want to say that truth is relative. So we think that the original Jews were Black, and the Jews themselves might think they were not. You know, it caused for debate. So sometimes when we say truth, it might be relative to one person, not to another. The Jewish people might not think that the original Jews were Black, and there might be a major debate. But at the same time, I agree with you that they shouldn't ban all the time and be so apologetic all the time. But I understand too that if they say, if I offend somebody, that qualified apology. If any Jews were offended by this, I apologize. I was just speaking my truth. Do you understand? But they had it out for Nick.
And he started asking questions. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all, you don't know you're listening to Enough Said. And with that said, enough said.
Enough said.
Enough said. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Enough Said with your hosts, Gemmo, Carolite, and Cherry Poet. We'll see you next time.
Like, subscribe.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, like us, and all that great stuff. And as always, give us your comments. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.
See you next time.
The next time.
Current events, injustice, police brutality, systematic racism, politics. What say ye? Enough said.